Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a spotlight on Dominions 4 Throne of Ascension. This is a game by Winter Games. It is available on Steam for $34.99. This is a strategy-based global domination game where you play as a god. The god part sounds more impressive than it actually is, really. It's under the same lines as, say, Civilization or Risk would be. You play as a specific team, or province, country, culture, whatever you want to call it, and you have to expand your territory and take over other regions and defeat other nations. But this one has the twist of you are trying to become a god. You are actually a pretender god. There are so many options within this game, so many different things that I will not be able to go through probably even 10% of them. It is ridiculous how much there is. So this does have full multiplayer support, so you can create and join servers, which are just their local setup games. Your computer is acting as a server or a host, whatever you want to call it. And other people connect to you, or you can connect to another person's server. It's all done, it's very simple, it's just done through IP addresses and ports. It's direct, there's no intermediary server. Game tools, this is where you can create a custom pretender god. So you can choose early, mid, or late ages, just like if you were creating a whole new world with a whole new pretender god. So I'm not going to go through this. You've also got a map editor as well, so you can create your own maps. That's generally not anything that I go through. It's not something that I'm really good at, so I leave that for you guys to deal with. I tend to focus more on the actual game itself, so let's take a look here. Create a new game and you are hit with a wall. Just to let you know, the manual for this game, where most manuals you'll get, and it'll be like, here's your control layout, here's the product information, don't sit in front of the screen for too long. It's like 10 pages long, filled with useless crap that you have no need for. The manual for this book is almost 600 pages. It is ridiculous, and it covers so much detail. I have not gone through any of it, really. I went through and I played the tutorial, which made my brain melt because of the amount of information that they're trying to shove in your brain. And just this choose a map. These are your different maps that you can pick. I have not tried any of these. I don't know which ones are large, which ones are small. I'm assuming the ones with 27 is small, and the ones with 259 or 480 are large. I've always done the small random map. So let's do that, and we're going to call this... we'll just call this Mark. Why not? So here you can pick your era, early, middle, or late. Each one has different resources, I guess, that you can get. So early age has lower technology, so you don't have things like iron. You're just Bronze Age. But you have heavy magic. There's a lot of magic around, and you can gather magical resources. Middle Age is kind of both. You have a bit of technology, so you've got your iron, but magic is less than the early ages. Both are about balanced, I would say. Late Ages, your magic has dwindled, and you now have steel. So your technology level has risen. That's the word, risen. But your magic has fallen. You have much less magical abilities. I tend to do Middle Ages because it's a good mid-ground. I would consider myself a very beginner at this game. I still don't fully understand all of the mechanics behind this. I would say you'd have to put in 30 to 50 hours to fully understand the game. And I have not done that. So let's hop in here. We're going to pick I'm going to do random. So your nation, you can pick a nation or you could do a random nation. I just like to do random. Your player, you can have this all AI. I'm not going to do AI. You can also do a disciple game. A disciple game is essentially a multiplayer cooperative game where you become a disciple and you've got your pretender god, and these are the pretender gods that you can join. You're just on teams. So you could have this AI is on my team, and you pick which one's the disciple and which one's the pretender god. You can only have one pretender god. You cannot have two of them. At least that's as far as I've understood it. I'm not going to do a disciple game. I'm just going to do a normal AI of random and a human player. I will be the human player. Last time I checked, I was human. So we are in the land of Bake Mono. Okay, sure. Yeah, that gives you a brief history of what the land is. I didn't read it because time. There is so much to do in this. So here you go. You get to create your god, or just pretender god. So this is who I will be. You can change their physical form, so you can choose any of these avatars, and they give you different abilities. And as you can see, Freak Lord is 40 points. That'll cost me 40 points out of my pool, where this one is 50, this one's 20. So I've got 330 points here. If I do the 50, I now have 300. And each one has different stats, different base stats. So this is essentially who you're playing as. I'm going to do a Dragon King, because why not? And he apparently has nothing, really. What is this? This one doesn't really say what it is. What is it? So these guys apparently don't pop up telling you what they are. I know a couple of them. I don't know this one. This one's Earth. I believe this one's Lightning or Water. This one's Fire, obviously. Mysticism, that's Wood. I don't really know. I'll be honest. I haven't memorized all of the different stats and everything. But you got a Bless effect, morale +1, which is always nice to have. You increase your morale, so it's less likely, if I'm remembering it correctly and understand it correctly, the morale is less likely for your troops to be routed, so they won't run away. And then you can increase your different stats. I'm actually going to give myself one of everything, because I can, or not. So I am negative 120 points, which is okay. I can go into a dormant state, which means it takes a year for my pretender god to pop up. I don't want to do that, so I have to remove some of these. Let's get rid of whatever that skull is. So there we go. We got 0. We've spent all of our points on our god. He's going to be awakened immediately. So I will have access to him immediately. There's no delay, no anything. You can also load a pretender god. Loading a pretender god, when you create a pretender god in the other menus, you can load that. You can also load, I believe, one of your old pretenders. Nope, can't load an old pretender. You can only load one you've already created. So anyway, you can also set a password. So it's only useful for multiplayer games. I'm just doing single. And you can view your nation's description again. So let's hit OK. Name my god. We will call him Sam. Because, I'm really intuitive with names. All praise Sam. And here's your game settings, so you can adjust these. These allow you to change different stats on your world. So, supply multiple, resource multiple. I'm not going to go through these. I'm just going to accept the defaults and let it generate the map. Now, we're doing a small map, so it's not going to take too long, but it takes some time. So, I believe we're almost finished. There we go. So now this is your messages. This will pop up anytime something happens between turns. So whenever you end turn is when things happen. This is obviously the beginning of the first turn. So in the beginning, there was chaos, and now the wheel has turned once again. So this gives you the backstory. Essentially, there were gods, the gods buggered off, and you're now becoming a god. That's it in a nutshell. So here we are. We are on our small map. The map is tiled horizontally, but not vertically in this case. The tutorial is actually looped top to bottom and left to right. This one is not. And it looks like we're more oriental, which I should have gathered by the dragon. So here we are in our keep. This house is apparently kind of semi-chopped off. That's about it. Yep. And apparently we've got a good area here. We've got fire gems, 1 per month, water gems, 1 per month, earth gems, 1 per month, and death gems, 2 per month. Ooh, death. So right now we've got one nation, and that is this one right here, which I'm not going to pronounce because I will butcher it. And you can see right here, we've got our troops. This is our kind of our army, our military force, and we've got our cathedral, as well as obviously our fortification here, our citadel, our fort. That's it, fort. So what we can do, or what we need to do, is we need to go and destroy all the other pretender gods and or gather all of these thrones of ascension. Let's zoom in here. This is a throne of ascension. This acts as a place of power, essentially. If you capture this, what it'll do is it'll slowly send out influence. It'll send out your influence, and that's what you need. You need to take over this entire map with your influence. And that's what these white candles are. The white candles represent your influence. So go over here. The province is under the influence of Sam's Dominion. Dominion strength, 1. Same thing with over here. If we click there, this is under my Dominion. So that is how you kind of win the game. And that's what this cathedral is doing. Temple. The temple is spreading out your influence. The more temples you have, the more influence you have. So you've got your number of temples, converted province, your strength is 2, chance of successful dominion spread is 20%. So it's got a 20% chance of spreading your dominion every turn, which isn't really that high, but it increases with your different things. So I believe we only have the 3 thrones of power, and we can see them right here. There's that guy, and that guy. And you need to capture them, or we need to capture them. Let's get this going here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to set my god onto research. What you can do with this is, as you can see, you've got all sorts of different options, and it depends on who it is that has different options. Everybody's got different options. So I'm setting him to research, and that's primarily for magic purposes. So as you can see, I am researching thaumaturgy by default in this particular map. It changes, it's kind of random. And I've only got 9 research points. The reason why I only have 9 research points is if we come over here, my research ability is only 9. You can have higher or lower research depending on your pretender god. In this case, it's 9, so you need 50 to go up a level. So it's going to take a while. I'm actually going to do construction, all 9 on construction. This guy here, Yoshi, I can have him defend, patrol, move, all of this stuff. Become a prophet, empowerment, blood hunt. You can have him do all sorts of things. But what I'm going to do, because if we right click on him here, we can see that he is actually a scout. It says right up here, scout. So what he has, he's got an excessive ability, or an exceptional ability to sneak. What does that mean? If you click on him, and then you click over here, you can see this line. This says that he has been commanded to go here. So we're going to Fenica, which we know nothing about. We don't know anything about Fennica except that it has a throne of power. So now we're come over here. This line is grayed out, telling us there's a command, and he is going to be sneaking. So he'll be sneaking over to here. Jobin here. Jobin is a samurai warrior, it looks like. We can see all his stats here. He has mountain survival and dark vision, which I guess would make him pretty good underground. But what we're going to have him do is we're going to actually make him a prophet. What a prophet does, a prophet can actually help spread your influence. A prophet is able to construct things. Like right now, if we go into construction, there's nothing we can build. Now, partially that's mostly actually because we got nothing here. Can he build? He can build. So we'll see the difference next turn, but I'm going to make him a prophet. Now, that's it for these guys. These guys... Oh, I canceled his move. Let's correct that. So I've commanded these guys to do what they can. They can't really do anything else. They've all got their commands. What I can do up here now is this gives me all the stats for my city, my province. My defense is 25. This is important. This defense here is very important if you are in an area that you could be attacked. So say this was my territory, but what do we got? So these lines show you what can connect to it. So we'll say this was my territory, but these three were enemy, or even this one, doesn't matter. Anything that connects to it were enemy territory. If I didn't have any defense on this, if my defense was 0, my enemies would be able to just march in here with no issue whatsoever. It's totally undefended. Unless I have a commander in there, there's no defense. They can just walk in and be like, this place is ours, and everybody be like, okay. There's really nothing to it. It's pathetic. That's actually the ones you want to take over because they're really, really easy. So, but we don't have any other provinces right now. I'm going to scout out this, make him a prophet, and do some research. So, only thing I can really do right now is I could increase my defense here, but 25 is pretty good right now. Especially since this is also a fort, so it's a lot harder for them to take it over. They can take over the city, but actually getting into the keep isn't so easy. It takes them a few turns to be able to break through the city. So what you can do here is you've got your army setup. Your army setup allows you to shuffle around troops. So anything up on this bar is what's just in the garrison. They're not assigned to a commander. These are your commanders. Yoshi here, he's not really a commander. What he is a scout. So he's considered a commander, but he can't command any units. So as you can see here, he's got nothing for units and squads. Jobin, on the other hand, he can have 80 units and 3 squads. So if you want a squad, each one of these is a squad. So if you want a squad, all you do is you place your guys on him, and that creates a new squad. As you can see here, these two have a morale boost of 1. This guy has no morale boost. And that's a stat of this of this commander. Each commander has different abilities, different capabilities of commanding their units. And some units work better with other commanders. So the commanders that this guy came with, they're the best for this commander. So what I can do here is now I've expanded his squad. He now has 4 squads out of 3. He can only successfully command 3. So as you see, these 2 here that had the morale boost are now 0 morale. The other 2 that had no morale boost have negative morale. So this actually affects their combat ability. So they can't combat as well. They're more likely to run away or lose. Don't know why I've lost... What do we got here? That's Pokemon Show. I don't understand why I've lost morale here. I've apparently lost all my morale. All right. Sure. I'm not sure what happened there. They did have a morale boost. I broke something. I do that. Then the next thing you can do is you can actually... It's really weird that that's... It's very strange. Because now I can't set battle orders to them. So something is mismatched. Yet they're all, as far as I can tell, they're all the same. I don't know. I did something. I'd have to go through... Oh, that's an archer. Archer. What's this? Archer. They look so similar. All right, I've got something messed up, but I can't figure it out. Whatever. You can set up different battle orders. So we'll show you with this guy. This is a commander battle order. So hold 1 turn, attack 1 turn, stay behind troops, attack, and retreat. This is for your commander. You give him the ability to do different things and conserve magic gem usage. I have never set a commander battle order. I usually only set them on my archers, which is simply just to keep back and attack. You know, keep your distance so you don't get hit by the infantry, but allows you to attack the infantry. They're very useful support. I love archers personally. The other thing you can do is set their formation. So we've got a skirmish formation is the only one we can use because I broke something. So with these guys here are soldiers. They're our troops. They're our frontline troops. They're very crude. They don't have a whole lot of ability to do anything, and they smell bad. So I'm going to set them at the front lines. You can see here front, and these are top and bottom. You have a whole bunch of different options when it comes to skirmishing. Oops. What I'm doing here is when you double click, it selects everything of the same type. So these guys are all set up fine. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, stop trying to figure it out. So what I'm doing here is I'm setting these guys up on the front lines, which was really stupid because these guys are the archers. Let's set the troops up on the front lines. So these guys are now front line guys. They are right there. They will get hit first. And then the archers will keep them back a bit so that they can, shoot. They can shoot their bows and break things. The commander, I'm actually going to move just in front of the archers. This little box, don't worry about that. That has nothing to do with this group. That actually shows you the other troops. So if I take this guy and I put him in the corner, you'll see when I go in here, he's in the corner. And those are just the different commanders. So if you've got multiple commanders doing different things within the same battle, so if you're going to have like 2 or 3 commanders converge on a city to take it over, you can strategically place them so that they don't hurt each other. And your units can actually hurt yourselves. Like, there's elephants in this game which have a trample ability. If you have an elephant that gets routed and turns around and runs away, they can run over your archers or any troop that's behind them. They can actually kill your own guys. So they've taken a lot of detail in this. So that was me setting up my army. So you can easily set up your army. You can move troops about, do all sorts of fun stuff. So he's going to be a prophet, so I'm not going to do anything else with him. Then we can recruit units. These are our units that we can recruit. These are the resources I have to work with. So I get 80 resources. I only get 80 per turn, which isn't a lot. It's kind of limited, especially since some of these guys can actually cost you a lot of resources. The top guys are your commanders. So these are your commanding officers. Sometimes they're mages. they can be quite useful. So this one here has fear, stealthy, force survival, not a mage. Uba. Ha! A Yuba. I don't know what this is from a historical standpoint, or even if it is something from a historical standpoint, but I know an Uba. Anyway, so this one's a mage. So you've got water mage, death mage, and nature mage, and a random magic skill plus 13 research ability. So this would be a good one to have for researching. This one's only got 5, not very good for research. This one has no research. This guy's got 21. This guy would be the best one for research. Lots of magic. This one would be a really good commander to have if you're getting into magic. But it also costs 395 gold, 2 resources, and is slow to recruit. Slow to recruit means that it takes 2 turns in order to recruit them, as opposed to any of the others which just happen to be in 1 turn. So, and then you've got your units, your regular troop. Each one has their own different things. I'm going to just grab a bunch of these guys. And so I can't actually grab that guy. What do I need? I need 395. Oh, yeah, that's not. Let's just fill us up on these archers. Why not? So we're full on archers, lots of archers. Now, one thing to note is you can actually go beyond your resources. You won't be able to, they won't be recruited, but they'll be saved for the next round when you've got enough resources. So it's a good way to queue up, but it does take your gold. So you won't be able to use that gold for anything else. So it's only useful if you've got an extra gold. If you've got more gold than you need, it's handy to do. But I don't do it, just I don't like doing it. I don't like going beyond my means. So we're going to recruit all these archers. So again, that's something that's queued up for the next turn. During this same time, if you're playing multiplayer, your other players are doing the same thing. They're queuing up their commands. And these all play out at the same time. So say I'm going here, but there's another person here that's also going to attack this area. And we're both attacking to the same spot. Not only are we going to get into trouble with the group that's in here, we're also going to fight each other in that same round, which leads to some interesting consequences sometimes. So we've got to recruit, and also recruit units is not a global thing. Recruiting your units is regional. So here we've got the recruit units, but I can't do anything with it. Only here can I recruit units. So we'll get to that in a bit. We're going to end this turn because there's not a whole lot left that we can do. So let's end the turn, and here we go. We now have events. A proclamation from Airmore. Sick Pit, the Spectacular shall hereby be known as Prophet of Fredge. So this would be the other god. That would be the other pretender, and then for me, Jobin is ours. So they have a much cooler god name, but honestly, screw you, man. We're awesome. And now, because our scout is here, like if we look here, we've only got 2. And that is, of course, because our scout is now here. And we can see what we have. So we've got an influence over here now. So we've spread. This is their population, income. They don't have much resources. They've got good income, though. The province contains 50 units. Militias, heavy cavalry, and light cavalry. That one's going to be difficult to take over this early in the game, actually. Because what do I have? I have... Well, let's do... I have 45 units. That is not good. So these guys got 20 heavy cavalry. I will not be able to get to this place. Like if I try to get Jobin to go there, nothing will happen. And that's because these guys are underwater and, you know, Jobin can't breathe underwater. So you need to find a way to get your troops underwater. Not the easiest task in the world. Sometimes you'll get these guys where the Tritons will be on land. So it's possible they have a settlement here, here, or here. It's entirely possible, but I have to make it to there and take care of them. Same thing with here. So it's technically possible there, but unlikely. I'm going to say it's very unlikely that they have a land settlement. So the only possible places that I can attack right now would be these two. I'm actually going to try to take on this province. I don't know much about them. I have a vague idea. They have 20 units. Basically, we're looking at them from the outside. This one we have way more information on because we've got a dude inside. I wanted to get this place to capture the place of power, or the throne of ascension, but I cannot. So, as you saw, I set up my army. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my profit. And first, actually, that's not what I wanted to do. I can get rid of that. So he can attack the current province. Let's not do that. Let's go over here. Let's grab Jobin. We're going to send Jobin over here. And now we're going to recruit more troops. What should we recruit? Let's recruit some Kappa. We can recruit lots of Kappa. I don't know what these guys do, but we're recruiting them. What do we got? Water resistance, or magic resistance, morale. Oh, these guys are amphibians. So that's actually handy. These guys, these troops can actually go underwater. So what I'm going to do is actually I'll recruit the Kappa chief, and I'll have a bunch of these Kappa. These Kappa will allow me to attack this area. So that's actually handy that I've got the underwater troops. Alright, so I'm pretty much done with what I'm going to do. One other thing I want to show is what your mages can do. As long as you have a laboratory, so your hometown will always have a laboratory and a temple. As long as you have a laboratory, your magic users can do alchemy, they can do the research. You can't do research if you don't have a laboratory. You can forge magic items, you know, just all sorts of wonderful stuff. This alchemy, though, is quite useful. At this point in the game, it is pretty useless. But say you needed something that required air gems. I have 0 air gems. I could actually take these death gems, and I can turn 2 of them into 1 astral pearl. You need 2 astral pearls, so it took 4 death gems. And then I can turn them into a single water gem. So it's a 2-to-1 to convert from anything to astral pearls and astral pearls to anything. So essentially from anything to anything it's 4. So it's pretty hefty price-wise, but if you have something like I've had earth gems plus 5 every month, or 5 every month, 5 every turn, 5 every month, whatever. That's pretty good. That's actually a good number, especially if you don't use them. So Jobin, let's grab Jobin and let's get him over here, because I want to show a battle. Different areas will have different places of power. So right here we've got this Mount Shinyamamariba, which gives us these gems. So 2 death gems, 1 fire, 1 earth, 1 water. You can find those in different areas across the map. But for now, we're just going to do that. I've recruited my units. Nothing more I can do, really. So let's end the turn. So the turn was resolving. And there was a battle in Omer. Let's take a look here. And we were defeated handily. Our forces were beaten by the defending forces of the Independents. So they kicked our ass because they had heavy cavalry and heavy infantry. And we just had a bunch of guys in leather tunics running at them with sticks. But this is the cool part. You can actually view the battle. So you can see what's going on in the battle. So this is what has occurred. This is how badly we lost. You can slow it down. You can speed it up. and you can pause it. When you pause it, you can actually check on the stats of all of these guys. So here we are, Heavy Cavalry. They have all of this wonderful information. And then you can actually find the commander. I'm going to say, yeah, this guy here. So, ordinary commander on horseback. So let's get this going fast forward. And quickly watch them kick our butts. Like, we're doing nothing. Like, nothing. Run! Run away! And they just demolished us. And then you can go to the province, which selects that province. And yeah, they kicked our butt. They utterly destroyed us. So I was kind of hoping we would take them over, but yeah, there's not a whole lot of places that we can actually defeat. These guys all have heavy infantry. Jeez, man. This is not a good start. These guys are brutal. Wow. Oh, it looks like there's a volcano here. And a dead, what is that? Dead albino ram? I don't know. Anyway, so what I started to mention is your unit recruiting and your resources are all done per province. So there is no difference between, or there's a difference between each province. So each region that you hold. So we'll pretend that I held this region. If I went to recruit units, I would have a totally... No, actually, let's do this one because we can see what their resources are. So if I held this region, I would gain 95 gold every turn, which would go into my main treasury. Gold is shared between your entire realm, but I would not gain the additional 18 resources. They would not go into my 80. What would happen is this would still produce the 80 and this would have 18. When I go into recruit units on here, I would only have the 18 resources, but I would have all of my gold. So the 326 that I have right now. That's what it would cost me, or that's how that would work. They also have different troops. So if I captured this, I would gain access to whatever they have, whatever they've been able to build. So in this case, I would probably get, heavy cavalries, light cavalries, and militia. I would get their units. So I'd get these guys. I would also get new commanders. So that's quite useful. Resources wise though, you can have times where you just don't have enough resources to build something. So if say you wanted one of these commanders, one of the cavalry commanders, and they say required 30 resources. Well, it's going to take you 2 turns to get 30 resources here, assuming you don't spend any. So it can be difficult. Meanwhile here, every area you capture does increase your resources for this place. So essentially everybody's paying tribute. But your gold is shared between everything, which is convenient for when you want to increase the defense of an area. What else should I babble on about? I think I've pretty much covered most of the basics. So this game has a lot to it. Random maps, probably not the best way to learn. There is the tutorial map, which is a handy walkthrough. It walks you through about halfway and then basically lets go of the bike and says, have fun. And it can be overwhelming at that point when it's just like, yeah, okay, win. But this game is pretty impressive. Don't let the simple graphics fool you. This game is deep. This game is heavy. And if it had anything aside from the simple graphics, your brain would probably melt out of your skull trying to, figure everything out. Like, I'll be the first one to admit that sometimes I'd like it to have a little bit better graphics. Maybe slightly more 3D castles and stuff, but it's not needed. It really is just a waste to have that, because you're not focusing on what they have. These are just graphical representations of the stats that you're looking at, which really you just need. This could be done just as well in a text base, you know, because that's what you're looking at. You need all of these numbers. It's all about the numbers. It's a big numbers game, just like life. Anyway, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something about this game. This game is available on Steam. Link will be in the description. We will see you next time.